name is Riley and you are watching Love DTV.
Now, I know that they don't smoke any more than white people, so is that kind of like a racial motivated type of? And if it costs the city $75 million in which to prosecute, then, we have to really question why. And then it was a year ago, somewhere around today, that I had talked to you about the 3 Mile Island nuclear accident, that it was the 31st anniversary. And I had discussed, no, it's of course, we're still live. I had discussed, the nuclear power plants on fault lines, and had, went to WLOS and asked, if they would do a story, but of course, you're going to get the truth on URTV more so than WLOS. So, facts are facts. That's just it. So we see what's happening, and they're trying to say that Japan is now as bad as 3 Mile Island. But then you also have to remember that they were trying to say that 3 Mile Island really wasn't bad. And I say, yes, there was a cover-up. Yes, there was some radiation that came out because it killed all the flies that lived on my farm. So if anybody out there knows George Slaughter Productions or remembers the TV show Real People, Victor Johans in New York City, he is the one that filmed us. So go and check out that footage and see how many thousands of flies died all at once, and then wonder, what killed them. We were involved in a class action lawsuit that was dismissed because they would not allow the experts to testify. So, you definitely want to check that one out. Deborah Lee filmed for me the Dream of Camelot. So that's going to be really cool. And then we went to Stella Blue. Can you imagine 2 old ladies going out to a nightclub? Yes, we did. And the band, Big Something, got my Big Something up and dancing. Yes. I
love it.
Thoroughly enjoyed,
cool.
They had a great band, and I'm hoping that if we can't bring them in, that we can find a way to get them here, because they really are good. And did you notice my feather head?
Yes, I noticed.
Look
I thought it was braided at first.
Oh, you brought it. Allie brought it. It's the circle.
The circle that we love.
I was out at the circle last Saturday, and got this put in my hair. And it's still there, and it's supposed to last for a month or 4.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Shannon is there with Noah, and I've been going on weekends because Lisa's there on Sunday doing her tarot, and the store is so cool. It reminds me of Coconut Grove. It reminds me of Gainesville back in the 70s. It's so magnificent.
It's a cool place. Well, now they're having a fashion show.
This is for the fashion show tomorrow. Yeah, for Sunday.
March 20th.
And go by there. It's the
no
neatest.
Call out. We're not
we're
just
exactly.
telling you that we're going to be there.
I'm going to be there, and I have this for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I hope that you will keep watching URTV, because that's how we really get the information out there. Jeffrey, can you put on camera 2 for a minute? Or Mark, can you put camera 2 on? I got to show you this. This is a birthday card from my son, the 18-year-old.
18-year-old?
Yeah, he just turned 18.
He just turned
too.
18, that's right.
And yeah, he made me this really
beautiful.
fantastic birthday card.
That's beautiful.
So I'm like, yeah.
The
my
peace,
kids
the
always buy me the
hearts,
best
yeah.
presents. You know, I
That
mean,
is-
whether it was
he's quite an
cards
artist.
or tape. I have one from
beautiful
when Cody was
colors.
5 years old, and he, you know, he made me a happy birthday tape.
Oh.
Yeah, cassette tape. So that was like way cool. Okay, I know you can't wait.
Drum roll.
Oh, wait a minute! Oh, what'd I do with them?
Let's have a drum.
I brought the other ones because we have the drums and the goodies all down there. Is there the jingle bells in the bag? Yeah, that's it. Yes. And then you have to get Shannon's camera and take a picture
Yeah.
of us.
The camera's right there, Ichin, guys. See it next to the phones?
Drum roll. Okay, wait a minute. I have to get the other one out too.
Okay, I can
All right,
do
you
this
got
one?
that one?
Yeah, I got it.
You that one. The infamous, the famous, Miss Kelly Beard.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Live in person.
We're so
It is so great to finally have you with
Thank
us.
you. It is wonderful to be here.
We are just so excited.
Dream,
And it's been gorgeous.
Dream,
The weather's perfect. It's spring equinox, new beginnings all around. So we're
Well,
going to cover some of that.
let us shut up and let you
No,
talk.
no. Are you done with announcements, really?
I am, yeah. Whenever I read off that, then what's that?
Hello. Well, I don't know. Do we have any call-ins yet? I think that's going to probably come at some point. So, guys, if you
Okay,
interrupt me, that's fine.
Yeah, I know that we're expecting some.
But we are talking
And right
about-
now, I see that there's a little bit of technical difficulty. Am I correct in the control room? Is that what we're doing?
It's all good. We're going to continue flowing because guess
what'd you
what
say?
I
It's
brought?
normal?
Allie, baby, you're even here. I have Mark, the I-Ching guy, Allie, Lisa. This is my friend, and Shannon. So this is the birthday girl from yesterday.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day, baby.
And what's cool about that is my brother John, it was his birthday too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Very
we're not
good. Happy
twins.
birthday. No,
No, we're
same
not
day,
twins.
different years.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Neat people born
So I'm thinking like
yesterday.
9 months before that must have been a really exciting time for my
Hello.
parents.
Exactly. They were having fun.
They were having a good time.
Yes.
Oh, are we messed up here?
So we are having a good time. There is so much energy kicking us. Everyone do some deep breaths, whatever you have to do to relax yourself and move through these energy fields, which are ever intensifying. The full moon is technically tomorrow, the 19th of March. So we have a lot. Virgo is the full moon that it's in, and it does rule our systems and processes and things that we go through, how we process our life and things that are going on. So we can talk about the girls and we can do a real forecast by the end, but we'd like to keep this pretty free flowing for now. And I do have some buzzwords for anyone that wants to write a few things down to work on their Virgo full moon. Full moons are all about release, and basically it is the culmination of whatever you set in motion for the new moon in Pisces, which was Lisa's birthday. Officially, new moon birthdays are very important, and that was a big one on the 3rd. So whatever new vision you seeded at that time, it is time to do a little pruning and to check in on the intentions that you set at that time. And this Virgo full moon is the 6th in a row. It's not the very last degree. Aries through Leo brought us to the 29th degree. There's only 30 degrees when we play with astrology. And it's a mastery thing. It's pushing everyone to complete and to move through it and to finally be done with certain things. And because it's Aries through Virgo, it's below the horizon. It's all very personal. And I feel my Kelly theory, this isn't in a book anywhere, but the Kelly theory is that we've been worked as individuals to prepare us for the huge social and collective shifts that are going on, and they are ongoing. So new moon, full moon really gives us a chance to get a rhythm with everything that's going on around us. And the moon rules your internal system, your emotions, how you feel about everything. How do you feel about things that are going on with the energy, with your people, with an environment, with your relationships? And we've got a mastery thing going on for the last 6 months. And now Virgo, even though it's 28 degrees, like I said, is only 30. So it's close enough in my book to warrant a major 6-month completion. So again, what did you harvest at fall equinox that has cleared a space, you've prepared yourself, you've gotten things together, you've released the past, and now spring equinox is fresh, fresh, fresh new beginning. In fact, I wrote down some things for that too. It is a turning point and crossroads. It's a big initiation. Aries is the clean slate of the zodiac, so this is going to give everyone a chance, personally, socially, collectively, for a clean slate. So we need to really pray
I
that
like
up.
that.
Okay,
And
so that what you were talking about is for everyone.
Everyone is feeling this one way or another. My Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn babies the most, because Aries is activated big time by spring equinox.
And that's also ascendant also?
If
Is that
you-
a part of?
If you have a rising in Aries, yes.
Right.
Sun, moon, or rising are the 3 pieces of your chart I think everyone should know, even laymen. If you're not into astrology at all, you should at least know those 3. And the sun is your identity, your core essential nature, so that's your sun sign. Most people know that one. The moon sign is your internal nature, and it is your emotional nature. Again, like I said, how you feel about various things. And your rising is the mask that you wear. It's your personality. It's your ego's protective agent and what you present to the world. And so very often, even though if you're one sun sign, then people perceive you as the rising. And they'll say, well, aren't you such and such? And it turns out to be your rising. That's, I think, how others perceive you comes through that mode. But it's your identity. So it's whoever you claim to be.
Well, that's
in
like,
that
'cause it's like
regard.
I'm an Aries rising, but a Pisces.
Big
and it's
time
like
new identity. So anybody with
New identity.
new identity, big time. And see, Aries actually rules and works the identity as well. Aries and Leo is the heart center is very important. Being passionate.
Oh, wait a minute. I think she's an Aries,
Aries rising.
Am I right in that?
I've got charts. I knew these questions would come up.
The
Where are the
greatest,
girls?
the
We're going to
greatest,
separate these out, so I'm not
Kelly.
doing this again. I apologize, guys. But Shannon is a Pisces rising. Pisces. So that's double Pisces with a Cancer moon. That's lots of
Wow.
sensitivity, lots of ability to empathize, to feel, to perceive certain things. I call the Pisces are the intuitives, the Scorpios are the psychic, and who am I missing? Me. The Cancers are the empaths. So they feel
So you
what's
feel
going on
it.
around you.
feel it,
That's what
okay.
empath means. So yeah, if you have this Pisces identity for you is core and personality, and so that's been on deck. So the last 7 years of Uranus in Pisces has been really working my Pisces babies and pushing that radical change. That's the personal level. If you are a Pisces, then you're feeling it in that regard. And Uranus has been going over your sun for 7 years essentially, but whatever your degree of your sun is, and in your case, it's 26. So that was pretty close to the end. It was pretty recent. We could probably look up the date, and it wasn't too long ago. And, well, Uranus is slow. I take that back. It was probably a year, but not the whole 7. If it was midpoint, we'd say 3.5. 15 degrees would have been about 3.5 years. So, and the big planets are social. They move groups of people. Like a bunch of people were born in that 7-year period of Uranus and Pisces. So where is your Uranus? Cancer. So it would have trined you and helped make your shift a little easier.
Your mom's passing, maybe.
Not so hard as it could be. It could have been worse. So that's what we do when we're paying attention to the rhythm and the patterns and the cycles and the energies. Because each sign, there's 12 signs, Aries through Pisces, each month brings a new lesson to the forefront. The sun is illuminating it. Source energy is lighting up this energy and allowing us to focus on that lesson, whatever it may be. So Aries is independence, courage of your convictions, overcoming fear of new beginnings. It's huge. It's the only clean slate of the zodiac. So I do think of Pisces as the womb developing in preparation for the rebirth. So the last month that it's been Pisces, we've been preparing for what's coming on Sunday, which is spring equinox and the sun's entree into Aries. So we're doing a lot of good stuff and preparing for that clean slate. So in that regard, you'd want to do some seed planting. It's a big initiation. Even though winter solstice, you set your intentions, it's still winter. So there's not a lot of outward action. There's lots of behind the scenes action. And then we get the cross quarter around February 1st, first week of February. then that's the in-between. Those are very important to me. Midpoints are very important to me. I feel like you can go so far and then decisions have to be made. And when you get to the halfway mark, you need to know what path you're on and what you're doing and how you're doing. And if you want to continue on this path, then, you know, see where you're at. And sometimes we veer off track, and it just depends on how far off track as to how it's going to get you back on. But everything's got a rhythm to it, and there are cycles. And even though these big cycles are going on, we can break them into smaller, manageable, human-sized, you know, individual level segments that we can really consciously co-create with. We can work with them incredibly. And so for spring equinox, theoretically, you got some ideas going, and then you checked in at Aquarius time to infuse them with more unique you, whatever that may be. That's Aquarius. And how is that going to serve the community? So theoretically, you get started, and then you see how it's working, and we get to spring equinox, and it's action time. It's time to get out, talk to people, move around, get cross-pollination going. You know, that's what spring is all about. There's movement and life bursting every time you get a chance. Yes. And we did. I'm here in Asheville, and yesterday I saw 2 cherry trees that bloomed overnight today. So when I went back, they were blossoming and just gorgeous. So it's a really beautiful weekend here for spring equinox. It's great.
Absolutely.
So it is time to be creative. It is fertility. The only other piece that I like to make sure you understand is new beginnings are very delicate. Okay, what's the word for Aries? as aggressive as Aries can be, and as strong and centered in their own space as they can be, it's still very delicate. And you want to nurture things until they get a little roots to them so that they can grow healthy and strong and expand later. Remember your base, as above, so below. If you can get those roots tight, then the expansion is not so challenging. And this is resurrection. We think of Easter and all the different cultures that celebrate this season. It's not just, you know, spring equinox, but it's very much Earth's cycle. So we move through it together, try to get a rhythm to it. We renew our vitality. We renew our commitment to life. This season is all about life. Whereas, you know, on the back end, we honor death. All of it comes, the life process is completely natural for this planet. And we need to honor that and accept that and not be so upset when things go, because nothing's permanent. It's constantly moving, constantly changing. Whatever it is going to come back in a new form, but it's all energy. So as you release certain spirits and loved ones and people that we care about, their energy is always with us. We know when you're connected to the universe, it talks to you. The earth is talking to us. Indeed. I remember I went to see Barbara Hanclow in Bellingham, Washington State, and it was November, and again, I got this gorgeous weekend that was so rare for that area, but I just lost my entire train of thought. What were we just talking about?
And this was for you.
Yes.
This weekend was
for you. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Oh.
But it was all divine order, and the nature there was gorgeous too. And it's really time to focus on the new beginnings and break out. Try something new, experiment. My big thing is improvise and experiment every chance you get.
Which this is a biggie for you.
This is my first time on TV, everyone. So yes, I'm here. I'm
It's
happy.
just like when you're on the phone. It's just great. It's just, and picking you up at the airport as we did, and just having you here. This has been a dream for us, but it's just, oh, it's just great.
Thank you.
And it is one of the greatest weekends that we've had this year. And
My
The best so
extended
far this year.
Asheville family is definitely growing.
Cool.
But before we get to the new beginning, we are working the Virgo full moon. And like I said, full moons are completion. So Virgo is about the healing ultimately. Theoretically, it's ruled by Chiron on the healing and education piece. So Virgo always wants to know how things work. It wants to do the work. It wants to get things done. And it's an earth sign, so it wants to be grounded. And we're moving through releasing anything that blocks our flow. Remember, all the signs have polarities. They have two sides to the same energy, just like we do. Just like life on this planet is dual with the way we roll. So the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. And I did have some really good buzzwords for you on that one, because this helped me. I have a lot of Virgo, as most of my people know. So I have don't resist, assist, and don't force, but allow. And don't criticize, analyze. Don't judge, but discern. Don't try to control, but organize. You know, that's the key. Virgo can get tricky because you're picking up the Pisces intuitive thing, And Virgo wants to be very practical and scientific about things. So we have spirit on one side and science on the other, just like everything else. You got something? Oh,
I'm just being excited listening, though.
I know.
I'm thinking,
The dynamics.
you know, when you talk about Pisces too, I think of how much I daydream. You know, but it's.
But we
that's how
need
I
that. It's
solve-
good, no?
And that's how I solve a lot of my problems. I daydream
Go
them.
into the vision
beautiful.
quest.
Yeah, I take them
Yes.
into a different level and think about it, and then when I come out, I'm clearer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's it. And then you know how to do the work. You know what work needs to be done because you've gone to spirit first.
I think too, with Pisces that I've noticed, the Pisces that I've been around, is we kind of keep quiet and then we get real noisy. So we get quiet and we listen to it all before we react.
That's a good thing.
And yeah,
Well, hopefully we do that.
Yellow. On good days, it happens.
on good days,
That's
not always,
right.
but on good days.
Yeah, always. I know that one. But it is the human in spirit. It's the physical and the spiritual side of us as human beings. And, you know, like I said, Aries through Virgo, which will take us to Libra, which is the opposite of Aries. That 6 months is about personal, individual growth. And then when we hit Libra, we go out to play with others.
I was going to say, that's a festive sign. I love
And
Libras.
that's the harvest. So whatever you
Understanding,
do, I'm
yeah.
always encouraging people to work that Aries independence, individual piece so that you're stronger, you're in a better position when you go to play with others in the Libra piece. And it's a process. And so annually, you can get in a rhythm. I actually have a laminated wheel that I just slap on the wall. There's nothing to do on it. But you notice, and everyone has their own. It starts with your rising. It's individual. But the sun basically hits the same place, the same time every year because it's doing its thing.
Right.
So essentially what I learned in the process was that you can listen. We all focus on certain things at certain times and neglect other things. And then there's whole gaps of our lives that we push aside altogether and don't get any attention. And until there's a crisis, then it gets some attention. So what we want to do is get in a rhythm with our annual pattern because sun is the source energy. It's the light illuminating this area of your life. And once you know your rhythm, what I learned doing it myself, because I'm always the first guinea pig, I try all my experiments on me first, is that the parts of me I had neglected got at least an intention set. Even if I didn't stop the presses and play with it for 4 weeks, it got some intention. I got a little attention. I thought about it. I felt it for a minute. I realized how much I'd neglected things. Revelations started to come. And it only took about a quarter, like paying attention for about 3 months. And then you start to move and you're working on something and everything's working and flowing. And then the next day you go back and something's not working. And you don't know what. You look at it, you've moved into a new house.
Right.
And you're in a new zone and the source energy is now moved somewhere else. And so it just helped me. And then what also, the bonus, was those neglected parts that we hide from ourselves and everybody else got, again, that attention, but they got no more restlessness. There's no more, when you neglect an aspect of your soul will find ways to contact you.
Ding, 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 ding. Anyone? Ding, ding.
So the bells are going off for everybody.
Yeah, and while all the bells are going off, I want Mark in the control room. Can you keep an eye because there's a call going to be coming in at 5, and then we still have a couple of minutes. But just to let you know to watch for that little green light in there.
Oh, good.
It's almost like bridging. You know, when you were saying that and the connecting and stuff, but the
That would be
spiritual part that you speak of is just so phenomenal. But when you were saying all that, it's like bridging things.
You make those connections, and then that part of your being goes, oh, finally, she listened, she heard me, she felt me, she cares. And then they calm down, and you don't have all that, disruption or disruptive energy. And it knows that at the same time every year it's going to get some juice, so it backs off and lets you focus where you belong. So I tell people, if you want to focus on money, it helps when the source energy is there. And things can flow, and then when it's not flowing the way you want, you can look and see, well, that's not where the energy is right now, and it sort of gives you permission to release it and focus on what is supported, which is my big thing. That's why I care about any of this, is let's do what's supported. Let's get in rhythm with it, because we can't control it,
Right.
and we can't control what comes at us in the process, but we can pay attention to the rhythm. and work with it and be okay
beautiful.
with it being coming and going and coming back, because that's what it does.
Right.
And that's a biggie. That's a biggie. And so once you sort of get your rhythm, even if it's just that sun, you know, paying attention. So for now, as it hits the Pisces babies want to pay attention during the year for Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini, Sag. That's a family. They're all related. They do things, the same things, but very different ways.
Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag.
Exactly. And that mutable family is all about ideas and thoughts and concepts. It's not real tangible. I mean, the Virgo tries to bring it in, but even the Virgo's overthinking everything. It still lives in its head. And so that's a family. And then what we're coming into now, so you guys are coming off the source energy piece, and we're moving into Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. And so that family's going to get activated. Now, the thing about the Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn is so intense now for personal level.
I'm curious. I was going to ask, not to interrupt, but I have a lot of Libra friends that have been struggling for at least the last 2 years with their artistic sides.
Yes.
Phenomenal depressions and beating of themselves, almost a Pisces thing with completion of. Well, yeah, yeah. And so, if I could almost be like a caller for my Libra friends with this Libra energy, is it going to help my friends?
Where
I've been
Libra
struggling?
energy is at right now is Saturn. It is depression. It does rule depression, so they can get prone to being in a rut that way.
try
But
to
Saturn
help.
is a 28-year cycle with 7-year increments. And it spends about 2.5 years in a sign. So it's in Libra now until October 2012. It entered last year,
Wow.
July 2010. So it really heated up for the Libra Aries babies, and that's initiation integration. So it's not even the hard piece. Saturn's harder on Cancer Capricorn right now because we have to grow. It's out of comfort zone into new territory. So here we are.
Keep it exciting.
So
New
right now, the
frontiers.
Libra Aries people are getting a reality check, and it happens every 28 years. So global or socially, we should think 80 to 83 was the last time Saturn was in Libra. We got Reaganomics out of the deal, and lots of other political things happened that have run their full cycle. They've run a full course. We can now release them and start fresh, and we can claim the true purpose of Saturn in Libra, which is community and camaraderie and togetherness and working together. Because Saturn's all about the work, but Libra is about the team. It's the team players that get together and shift reality ever so slightly to make it better for others. And so we want to keep the balance. You know, I tell my Aries babies, I give you permission to be selfish because it's really just self-preservation. And you take care of you, then serving the community is a lot easier and a lot cleaner. You don't pick up as much karmic debris along the way that you end up having to dump at some point. Nobody releases it for you, so that's tricky. You want to be clean as clean as possible. And so that's going to move through its cycle. And then I don't want to leave my Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio babies. They would kill me. They're on their family as well. They're the fixed babies. So there are anchors. They're the four corners that don't change. And when that's a good thing, that's a great thing. And when there's a rut, then we need the mutable babies to come in and get some flow, and we need the action cardinal babies to come in and get things moving, and then the fixed, they'll come along.
I love it. I love
They'll
it.
come along.
And along with myself, I joked kind of half-wittingly about how Obama is a Leo, and that when I've said of my struggles, I said just think of Obama. You know, because I mean his
Going through, right.
and with Libya right now, I don't want to sidetrack you in any way. And there's a 5 o'clock call, but with us right now, and he being the Leo, and he's really flowed with his, as you've spoke, and I've thought of Obama, and you think of different things. Libya this weekend, and as of tonight, in the territory that he's going into, and we know of a lot ourselves. If Nostradamus you're into, or whoever, and whatever, and Hopi in 2012, how is it set for him? The strength of Obama, who's going to be carrying us into some new, as we all go new here. How is he situated?
Well, on a personal level, I'm not going to get too political, but on
Right.
a personal level, Leos went through a huge transformation in 2009 when Mars retrograded and spent almost 9 months in Leo, which Mars is all about who you are and what you want. And Leo means it has to be heart-centered. You have to operate from heart. If you do it any other way, you're going to have problems. And that's pretty much across the board, but especially Leos. They live from their heart. They have the biggest hearts of anybody I know. And it's important for him to stay centered and allow his light to shine, but keeping the Aquarian community in mind. So it's vital. It's really important work that he's doing. We surround him with light and prayers
Indeed.
as he represents us in this challenging world and tries to make decisions, human decisions. And we bless him in every possible
Indeed.
way and hold
Indeed.
him in safety. So do we have a call-in?
We do.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello, caller.
This is
Hello.
Kelly and Beard.
Hi.
I
Hi,
hear
Miss
them, but they're
Kelly.
very
A little
far
bit
away.
louder, Mark, in the control or in the studio. You got it? Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes.
Ah, better.
Hey, it's the connection.
Wow,
Hi, Miss
wonderful.
Kelly. I'm glad to hear your voice.
Thank you. Who am I speaking to?
This is Bridget from Black Mountain.
Thank you, darling. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for all your good work, and thank you for being so professional about what you do. I really appreciate your input, and it just kind of helps me be more aware to have a blueprint of what I want and where I'm going and how it's supported. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love what I do, and I do what I love.
Yes,
What a
I can
great
tell.
call.
It shows. Yeah.
Thank you. So what's on your mind this Friday?
Well, you know, I've been listening to my friends. I've been listening to people talking, and I'm hearing over and over and over again that something is up with the moon today or tomorrow or something, and I know the moon is emotions, and I'm just wondering what's up and if you can give us a heads up and how we can use that blueprint to our very best and highest advantage.
Oh, thank you, darling. Yes, it is a supermoon, which means there's a very exact alignment between the Earth and the moon, and it's closer to us than ever. Very often. We get these exact supermoons. It's an exact one, but it's rare. The next one won't be until 2016. That said, we get 4 or 5, sometimes 6 supermoons in a year. So we get them where they're a little closer to Earth and where they're almost aligned with the Earth. But this one's exact, and it is intensifying things because it's closer, so there'll be higher tides and lower tides, extremes. Think emotional extremes, and that is possible. Virgo Pisces is going to be doing some processing. It's a lot of processing with that energy right now. We're at a major completion of 6 months worth of work that we put in since fall equinox. We're getting to spring equinox and having to start fresh in a new way. So this full moon is a release. Let's see how many hours before the new beginning, which is Eastern time, 7:21 tomorrow. I beg your pardon. It's 2 o'clock, and then later, the next day, about 24 hours later, we'll have the new beginning. So we're going to culminate. We're going to call on the Virgo healing. We're going to call on the education for sure.
Absolutely.
We're going to monitor our processes and our systems. Virgo does rule health and routine. So your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health is on deck for a release of some sort, certainly, but a completion. Maybe we're breaking habits, we're breaking patterns. Uranus has been helping us out in that department too. We're moving into some very intense energy, not necessarily bad, because it's new beginnings, so it's very delicate.
Right.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing. This is an excellent thing. We've spent 6 months working on our individual natures, and we're moving into the social realms to do some good work with the community. And we need that. So the Virgo full moon is going to give us an opportunity to, I think, of fusion, where we've been fragmented. If anybody's been scattered or kind of all over the place, we want to call in that fusion, that wholeness that Virgo represents.
Okay.
And prepare to release any kind of mental chatter or negative inner dialogues. All of that's got to go.
Oh, no.
It does get tricky, but it's just practice. There is no perfection.
Yes, thank you.
And we just practice. You get a rhythm, and you're all good. But we've been in something lately, like that last 6 months at the last degree was the whole time Uranus was at the last degree of Pisces. So this is just a huge personal, social, and collective adjustment and a new cycle coming in. And you want to think 6 months ago to a year ago, what kind of healing maybe kicked in at that time,
Okay.
what kind of fragmenting has gone on since that time and that you can pull together, or how many little things have you been working on that you can pull together for the bigger vision, okay? If we get a little broader, we're talking the Pisces vision and the Virgo work that goes into creating that vision and making that and manifesting it in 3D. So it's a lot of work, but we're very well supported. For the Virgo full moon is ruled by Cancer. So this whole weekend, I'm going to encourage everybody to feel their way through it, not to feel so much. Keep your boundaries healthy, and don't allow the overwhelm of information. My water babies pick up information from all over the place, and you think about being underwater. You can hear it, you can feel it, but you're not sure where it's coming from.
Right.
And things that are going on below the surface are sending ripples up to the top of the surface, and that can get tricky too. So we want to monitor our feelings, Cancer feelings, and follow our gut, you know, this full moon especially. And it is about nourishing yourself. So whatever healing that needs to be done, there's a level of nourishment available now that can feed whatever part of you may be in a famine, may have been neglected, you know, that kind of thing. Virgo's always about the work, so it puts a lot of, you know, other things off. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. This Virgo moon falls in the 3rd house, so we can learn something. Again, remember, it's ruled by Chiron, which is healing and education. So learning, opening up to receive the wisdom that is all around us in nature, in our environment, through people and messages and ideas that present themselves seemingly out of nowhere, but we know.
Yes.
So it's going to be pretty juicy. There's more action above the surface, so it's probably going to be a lot more worldly things than personal. But if you have Virgo, Pisces, or Gemini, Sag, we were just discussing, then this full moon is very, very important for that particular crew. For those babies, they want to pay attention and really feel their way through. But the supermoon does intensify things, and I think that's probably what you've been hearing about.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense, and we'll take it and
Thank
use it and build
you.
something beautiful with it.
Wonderful. I
Okay, girl.
appreciate your energy.
Great
Thank you,
call.
darling.
Bless you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lisa.
All right.
Sweet.
Take care.
Thank you, thank you.
Because you take the big picture like Japan, that resonated all through what you're saying, and then you take a person and one soul, and then you take the whole thing going on in the world and everything, and then you got your Facebook, and like you say, and all of us communicating, and the depths of what you say community, you mean community, because we've created communities
We are one,
around the world.
In
Exactly.
case you ever doubted it.
Yeah.
It's real hard to doubt now.
Right. Exactly. And that's the beauty, I feel, of the excitement of the new, is to see that humanity. And that is the biggest picture right now that we have, aside from internally each person as we are.
Sending good wishes. And you know,
Yeah.
what's so interesting is that everything we've heard on the news about Japanese people right now just blows me away, and I think, wow, I want to be like that.
Well, I
mean,
yeah, I was in
pulling
Japan.
together.
I was in Japan as a little girl, and I lived in Guam, and so like in 1968, I was here and at the Buddha and such. And it was really intense because I ran away in Japan at 8 years old, too. I ran away in Japan.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyhow, so I walked with Buddha along with God, Jesus, and everything because of situations, and I just walked. I walked and walked. But I had Buddha love early in my life for my I Ching, for my grounding, for my spiritual walk that was so intense in my youth. I needed that light. So Japan is very dear to me, and Buddha and the love and understanding honor, and that's what these people have, that Western society, Western civilizations need to learn, and that's part of, I think, the critical of now, that when you see the beauty of these people that will feed you their last morsel and die in front of you with a smile on their face, rather than see you walk by and continue without a morsel of food in your journey. They stop, they pray together. I did put up on my Facebook a piece about the beauty of their spirit, and and somebody wrote, a friend of mine just said, just think of how we are in our Western ways, and so let it be a journey of watching and seeing and you know.
and learning.
Take notes, people.
Yeah.
But we're supported there too. My teacher would say Saturn in Libra is inviting manners back.
Right.
We can
Please,
be kind
yeah,
and
kindness.
reciprocal blessing is what Caroline always refers to.
That fills me up.
Yes,
That
and
thought.
you will feel it. My theory, you know, I'm always reminding my people too, when you send a blessing, people are praying for us as Americans, certainly
Right.
receive that. Because in the moment a prayer is given, a blessing is given, it's received. And we need to practice the receiving. I have a feeling many people struggle more with the receiving than even the giving.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's easier to give it out than
To
because you
receive,
never
yeah.
feel like you really qualify for it.
The
You know, and
That's
so-
cute.
value and
Uh-huh.
worthy. You know, we are worthy of
There
every
you go.
good thing. We are children of God.
You know,
And
Kelly,
that is the truth.
having you here is just so wonderful for all of us. But, you know, I wonder if you could take a minute or so and tell our audience a little bit how you got all involved, because your knowledge is incredible. And I want to, I want you to
That's a
share
good
with us.
question. I've been hanging on every word for years. I'd love to know a little something about how we got.
I mean, anything you
Got our
ask.
girl.
Yeah, how did you get there?
Oh, well.
Besides lifelong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, a teenage girl gets into
yeah.
astrology.
What was, did you originally when you were a teenager?
Well,
or-
my mother had a lot of books, so I can say that she seeded it. And then when I got pregnant in '96, I wanted to work from home, and I do believe my standard career advice, everybody, is to figure out what you love and figure out how to charge for it and keep it legal and clean and serving the universe. So I figured that out, and I started practicing in Chicago. And it was no computers. Got my first computer, I think, in 1998. So that's another testimony, people, of how fast and how big and how far we've come in 12 little years. And I was going to speak to the bigger cycles that are converging now. The Jupiter is a new 12-year cycle. Saturn's at the halfway mark of the 28th-year cycle. I remember what I said about midpoints. And then Uranus is a new 84-year cycle. So these are big reset buttons that we get a chance for. And I do see patterns. I do retain this information a lot easier than most. But the very first thing is a very cute story. I bought this book called Spiritual Astrology because I wasn't into the horoscope pieces. I like to go deeper. And I read my Lessons to Learn and Lessons to Teach. And it helped me so tremendously working on myself at the time that I bought a case of them and handed them out to my friends.
Wow.
And then they said, but Kelly, I don't know what I am. I don't know how to look this up. And so I grabbed the book and I'm like, this is you, this is you, this is you, this is you. And I just
And you
marked
haven't
their book.
stopped. You still have the joy in doing individual.
I do,
It's so beautiful.
but it helped. And then that was
Yeah.
the piece that Spirit gave me to guide and to help and to translate, because then even the language thing would happen. And I just sort of
And you've done it so
intuitively
beautifully
figured
over
it
these
out.
years, as
And
the
we are
caller
going deeper,
said.
so we're going to have some fun in the coming years. And Karmic Tools is thriving. Karmic Tools it just turned 4 years old, March
Wow.
2nd, another Pisces baby, my website. I started out with Cosmic Switchboard, and I still love connecting people to other resources, a lot like what Lisa does, and helping people. And Cosmic Switchboard got rebirthed at a time where I was honing the vision, and it was like, what do you really do, and what do you want to do, and how can this evolve? And I kept thinking, tools. I make tools, and I help people help
Fabulous.
themselves, because ultimately, I can't do the work for you, and I won't do the work for you.
True.
So
It's another line. That's another
That's it.
job.
Yep, that's
It's
right.
something.
Exactly. So I got pregnant. That was the big catalyst. And you get real serious when you got another life to protect. So I started slow. We moved to D.C., and D.C. was hard, I got to say. D.C. was tricky. It was very challenging. I have a huge circle there now, but I moved, and they came. I don't know. At the time, and then I heard, people have, not in any way, shape, or form, please don't take this the wrong way, teachers in general aren't usually respected in their neighborhoods. So Jesus couldn't practice where he was either. People who have something to say very often, and it happens, don't get me wrong, some people do, and they thrive right where they are and they never leave the block. Great, peace be with them, but that's not the norm that I've seen. And that's just my opinion. And so DC didn't really work for me at the time. And like I said, now the circle's evolved, and I have people, and I'm going back. We're actually going to have a live circle next week there.
Wow.
So it did come through.
You guys started the ball rolling here.
Wowzers.
And I'm going out in public now and getting
Wow.
out of cyberspace into real space. And that's what
beautiful.
I want.
That's
I really
beautiful,
want
the
more
connection.
ceremony on the sacred seasons. Like we're going to get together on Sunday,
Right.
everyone. So we won't be live in person, but you're welcome to call into a free spring equinox celebration where we honor the season and we talk about what the season's all about. And then we look at the chart to see what's supported for the next 6 weeks. Basically, each season rolls about 6 weeks. And then we move to
And they
Florida.
can, you guys, right there, Kellyanne Beard, Karmic Tools, search for it in your engine. you know how it goes. We can't be commercial, so we can't give you exact details. You got to do the work.
That's right. I'm easy to find, though.
That's it.
That's it. I've stretched far and wide in the last 4 years. Karmic Tools took me into a new stratosphere as well. And that's something about the Virgo Pisces piece, everyone, is that as you hone the vision, as you find the small Virgo details that make the big Pisces vision work, things start to come together. And again, there's a flow. By Virgo Pisces is all about the flow. And when you start to control, then you block the flow. And so there's lots of lessons that come along for those babies that help ease their flow and dissolve the boundaries or blockages and things in their lives. You can really claim that in any moment that you need, is to dissolve this barrier if it's not necessary, and to strengthen the shields if it is.
It's almost like more quiet moments. More
And that
quiet
is,
moments.
allowing yourself to daydream is so
Yeah,
vital. Our culture does not
Because of
support
our
that.
clutter, it's almost like take the time. Because I think of Lisa. I love Lisa. You love Lisa. We love Lisa. And I just think of sometimes of just some quiet
Yeah,
for
what's
her.
great about daydreaming is nobody really knows you're doing it when you're doing it. Just keep a
very
smile on your
My
face.
secret.
That's
Yeah.
more God, baby.
Or take a book and act like you're reading it and just go ahead and daydream.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
I
with
love
a
it.
smile.
How to daydream. We need that. Make that your next segment.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely tell you how to do that.
But then come back and do the work. Whatever messages you receive, whatever understanding, wisdom, opening, broadening the experience. And, I love the website, but I am kind of excited to be with people again.
This is fabulous.
I've been in
This is
mama mode.
great.
He's 14. I still have a little time to go, but little by little, I'm stepping out.
Yep.
Well, we have to have you back again. I mean,
Oh, I
we-
love
we are-
Asheville's a home away from home.
We are doing the 8th season starting April,
Wow.
and we will have to have you back again before, fall.
celebration.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, remember
Yeah.
we talked about the seasons, and I think spring equinox and fall equinox are the times of year that would be easy for me to travel
September.
here. And it's gorgeous here, so I've got good stuff happening once I get here. And we are just really in the flow right now. As I said, the Virgo full moon's going to come Saturday, and that's the ending, and then we have the new beginning Sunday. So it is a lot of energy to process, everyone. So pace yourself. Really pace yourself, because we do have some guidance for the Virgo full moon, and we do want to do that first. So anything that you can do, it's Friday night. I don't know how many have hot dates, but
Oh, well, we have
Maybe-
a hot date tonight.
the drum circle.
There we go. We'll see. We will be at the drum circle. We can't say we'll see you there, but we will be at the drum circle tonight in Pritchard Park.
Wow.
So if you cannot be there, we will be there dancing for you.
They're representing for the team.
There we go. There we
Everyone
go.
does their part.
Yep.
And so, yeah, but if you're at home and you want to do some intentions, it would be about the healing piece, releasing that which doesn't work. I have some really good Virgo stuff for you. So you want to get very earthy, practical, grounded. Any place that you've been too scattered or all over the place or spaced out, that's what they do. They take these time outs and lose time, actually, and time's getting funny anyway, so. But it is time
Sweet.
to focus on the details. What are the little things that you've overlooked in the survival mode, in the hustle for life, in the bustle of life, What can you do to really get grounded, to look at those details without being consumed by them, without getting tripped up and off track, because details will do that to you too, and then you don't get anything done. You're all off on this little stuff that is it relevant, is it useful, should be the mantra for the whole weekend. That's it. And we've moved out of Leo heart, and so Virgo does bring in that mind piece. We had the full moon in Leo last month, and that got everyone real present to where their hearts were, and now we're coming in with the practical grounding that we need to live that way in more of a rhythm and more of a regular basis. And we want to balance the tangible and the intangible, giving flow a structure. Remember, Virgo's an earth sign to the Pisces water, and water and fire are great, but they need the earth to ground them. And even the air babies are on their own. They're all, you can't contain air so much.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, not so much. But the fire and water, the creativity and the flow and the understanding, if you give it a container and give it a structure, it makes it more effective. And it gets something done. It builds something. It creates something. Even if it's just energy. Think about how dams work and how water works in general. And we need to pay attention to the water, needless to say. Neptune is almost wrapping up a 165-year cycle to add to that mix, so that's pretty big. and it does rule our oceans. And a lot of the big alignments happened, and then we had the oil spill, and we had the recent tsunami, but we had New Zealand and Australia. I have some people there, members from the Power Circle are all over the world. And we hold all of them in our prayers along the way. But it really is just Mother Earth recalibrating. It's not the end of the world. 2012 isn't going to end everything, I assure you. It's a rebalancing, which is what nature does. We have gotten into a very unnatural rhythm in America in particular, and it's time to reclaim some of our natural rhythm. And in that case, you have to be kind of vigilant on, I need my daydream time. This is natural for me, and humans need playtime. And how humans learn in general is through play and storytelling and games and being in circle together. Circle time, remember? Nap time. We don't take naps in this country. We don't even take vacations in this country, you know. And a lot of countries, it's mandatory. They have siestas and they have breaks and the whole place.
I had my first nap today in so long. Oh, I did. I cuddled up with Yang. I told her, and I said, I can't remember the last time. And I just felt like I was dancing with the moon last night, and it wore me out. I had to take a nap today. You know, it was right out my window.
Dancing with the moon.
I
love that.
Yeah. And then
love
today
that.
I just had to cuddle up with Yang and to take a nap. It was hysterical for me, but I said, I'm checking out.
Well,
Go ahead, yeah.
Virgo full moon is going to get you present to what's not working, because that's the other piece of the full moon shines a light in a corner that has been dark for a minute. And so again, you want to think about your priorities and what's important, and is it relevant, is it useful? And I'm always, because people do get overwhelmed, what's the top 3? Okay, let's just narrow it down to what needs to be done right now. And how can you get organized, which is Virgo's gift as well. And we can call on those gifts, even if you're not a Virgo, even if you're not a Pisces, you can claim that during the times of year that the energy is activated, because it is activated, and everyone has it somewhere in their chart. With or without planets, it's ruling a whole area of your life. For me, this full moon is exactly hitting my career house.
Wow.
Oh, her career house.
My
and then
career
she's out
house
in
starts
front.
at 28 Virgo, and the full moon is here.
So
I have a
amazing.
feeling something's going to shift there, because it's a new
Cool.
day. It's a new beginning. And
It's like the drive. You're like doing this. Woo,
Well, I
love
really
it.
see a show such as going prime time. I really could, because I mean, this is information that the people, if they had it, they could live a whole lot happier.
well, theoretically, that's
Why
my
I've been
theory.
on hanging on every word for a couple of years, because I
Yeah.
absolutely understand.
Yeah.
And what you don't, just giving it time and seeing how the world is and how things are rolling around you. And the more, if you don't get it, and the more you listen to Kelly, things I think fall, but I think a lot of people do understand, absolutely,
the
because we're
feedback
all
I
a lot
get-
of earthy people at this stage in the game with Mother Earth. A lot of us that are
Well,
still
everyone's aware
here.
now.
Yeah.
In
So-
ways they weren't always. So.
But the more we can get you, more shows.
Well, that's the feedback. If you know what's going on, you can work with it, and you
Right.
don't feel so victimized. That was
Right.
my thing. I'm an independent soul. I have a direct connection to God. I don't particularly care for a middleman, although I have counselors and people I talk to and that kind of thing. But when it's spirit and human, we're right here. We're all together, and that works for me.
Amen to that.
So I went studying and digging and practicing, and my teacher said I had to do 100 charts before I could be considered a real astrologer. So family and friends, whether they liked it or not.
Well, it's so interesting, because I mean, that's how I am. I mean, I have a long list of people. I don't think I have 100, but I have a long list of, you know, people in their charts and looking to see what makes them tick.
Paying
and-
attention.
Yeah.
Just a little,
Yeah.
little bit of paying attention goes a long way.
Yeah.
Trust me. And
Yeah.
pick a planet, any planet. What do you want to work on? That's one of the classes I'm trying to develop at this time. Venus is values and priorities. It's what's important to you, and then the surface layers, love and money, because that's what's important to everyone. They
Right.
have to support themselves, and they
Yeah.
want to have people in their lives. So Venus is the
Yeah.
planet to work with on that. She's got an 18-month cycle, so no, it's not overnight, but it's a process. But I'm telling you, I've worked it 2 or 3, 4 times, and my love and money is just fine. but it was work. It wasn't easy. It wasn't magic. It wasn't because I said hi to Venus, all is well. I had to really dig and see what my values and priorities were based on, and what do you really care about? What are you willing to cultivate? Because Venus rules Taurus, which is the garden, food and beauty is part of human nature as well, and Libra, it rules Libra. So then it's the culture and the people and how we are one, and we're in this together. So there's a lot to go with it. But again, you can pick something. Mars is your desire nature. And like I said, with the Leo babies, they got a big activation and asking, what do you want? And who are you and what do you want? And it's a very basic thing.
But also there's been a craving for it. For me personally, since 2005, of an exacting of change. And it's like, you were saying, like 7 years. And it's almost like, and so for it to happen and come, I'm just like, wow,
Well,
because
it makes sense now.
yeah.
And you know how it is on our show. Our time flies.
Wow.
And we are counting down to Karmic
Tools.
So, people, we had a good time, and Kelly is going to be staying here, and she's going to be doing her
do
thing.
this alone. No, we can continue in this vibe. I've covered a lot. I mean, I still have more, but I always have more.
Well, see, we've got to move out of this seat anyhow.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm on my own.
because the I Ching's going to bring.
I was doing okay.
I mean,
I'm here.
oh no, because it's going to be all mass chaos. So I mean, it's no biggie.
Okay. So
I
the
mean,
show
that's-
stops and then starts again?
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
didn't know that.
Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes, everybody.
Well, we'll see
Stay
how-
tuned.
Stay tuned,
Really,
yeah.
really. Well, we've got a little bit of a rollout yet, but we'll hear the music before we're getting ready to go out, and then we have like a minute, 2 minutes in between, so I can get in the control room to change tapes.
Okay.
To,
Okay.
make
There's
sure
a process.
everything's there is
A behind-the-scenes process.
There is. It's-
Underway.
this is
So
the
your
first
call-in
time
show
here.
is
It's
going to be
like-
You Here show
Yes.
from the
Yeah,
studio
your show.
Somebody else call in.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Oh,
ladies.
if you want call-ins, I'll put the.
I'm going to roll. I've
All
got
right.
plenty.
She's gonna do her usual. We love you guys. Remember, 4-piece.
You can turn me off.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are getting ready to do Kellyanne Beard and Karmic Tools. Hang on.
Together. Ooh. How's everyone doing? There we go. And what is this? Let me get up here where I can see. Thank you, dear. How's everyone? Ooh, live. This is new and different. So, for the audio, I guess I have to say, this is Kellyanne Beard from Karmic Tools and Lunar Reflections. And I am live in Asheville for the first time ever and loving it, having a beautiful time with some amazing souls. And we do have quite a bit to cover. I mean, we covered a lot in the first hour, but we are moving toward this full moon in Virgo and the spring equinox. So the full moon is Saturday. It's a completion, and it prepares us for the new beginning coming Sunday, which is very exciting. And we have a lot of work to do, if you can. There's time to make some lists and do what you got to do and prepare for healing and understanding. Virgo Pisces is all about the human spirit balance and how we can facilitate that as we go. We get a chance every 6 months to work with these energies, and it moves through the zodiac as it does and allows us to work with it. So we're coming off of the first quarter moon in Gemini, which was some action, and now the full moon is the culmination of whatever we set in place for the Pisces new moon, which was at the beginning of the month, I believe March 4th. And whatever vision you seeded, however you started your beginning of the end kind of thing. Remember, Pisces is at the end of the zodiac, and it's the womb experience. It's development, preparing for the Aries rebirth. And we love this time, even though, think about the womb. You are simultaneously cramped and confined, but also provided for, and all your needs are met. So we want to feel some of that. We want to honor that piece of it. And when we get to the new moon in Pisces, we're at the culmination of the year, the astrological year, the energetic earthly year, because spring equinox gets it going. And we want to work on our healing this weekend for sure, because it is a completion, it's a full moon, and it's a release of anything that has you scattered or fragmented or disconnected in any way. You want to get that connection back, because this, like I said, is the human spirit connection, and that needs to be communicating. And even though I subscribe a little more to Chiron as the ruler of Virgo for the healing and education piece, in standard astrology, Mercury rules it. So you want to remember that Virgo also helps us with our processing. It processes everything. It runs it through its filter to see what's real and what's not, and what's healthy and what's not. And health is definitely at the top of the list when Virgo's kicking. So how did you change your mind in the last week or two? What has come into your awareness that lets you know that you have completed something and that you're ready to begin something new? And when you get to the new beginning piece, you just want to really keep in mind that beginnings are delicate. Basically, you want to just know that they're delicate, and you want to take your time. This particular full moon is a supermoon, which means there's a more exact alignment with our planet Earth, and it's closer to us. So it may even appear to be bigger. That happens a lot, but basically it's going to affect our tides, it's going to affect our physicality, but it's also going to affect our emotions and things. So just be present with it. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Overwhelm is widely available, but not absolutely necessary. You can choose to channel it another way. And again, earth and water, when they're working together, you want to give the flow a structure. You know my thing. We want to be practical about it and not be in denial. We don't want to work on, with Virgo, it's service versus servant. So yes, you want to do the work, but you don't have to be a servant in the process. There has to be some reciprocity. There has to be an exchange of energy, however you define it. And very often, I think I've said this before, my earth babies, Virgo wants it done right. Capricorn likes the recognition, and Taurus likes the rewards for the labor. So they're very present to, I'm going to do this in exchange for that, and that's the earthly MO. So in this case, we're just coming up on this super full moon. It is the 6th in a series, and it is going to help us process things and heal some things. And this is the thing, everybody. Whether you believe that the healing has happened or not happened, is done or not done, claim it. Claim it at this moment because the energy is there to support it. And you don't have to do much more than that. And we talk about a lot in terms of intentions and things. Don't be attached to form. Don't be attached to the shape it comes in or who it comes through or the tangible so much as the essence. The energy behind whatever it is that you're trying to create is possible, but you have to be able to define that essence, okay? And you want to be able to feel it in your body, and then it draws it right to you like a magnet. It's a powerful, powerful thing to observe. And because it is the full moon, it's shining a light in a corner that may have been dark for a minute, so you want to check on what's not working. Where are you blocked, okay? Because Pisces is all about the flow, so very often Virgo tries to control and blocks that flow. So we don't want to do that. We want to open up the flow and allow some things to happen. So as we're processing my thing for this weekend and for the following week, okay, we want to get into some energy work for the whole week because we have some huge alignments coming up for the rest of the month, and you want to be prepared. That's what we do. The sun and moon is very personal. It's your inner and outer nature. And it helps you get in alignment. Twice a month we get together and set our intentions for what we're seeding and what we're getting started on. And we work on the full moon, releasing that which isn't working anyway. It's a good time to do some pruning and to let go of anything that's just not working yet. And you don't want to get distracted. Virgo's all about the details. So we do want to focus on the details and the little things that make the big vision work. But you don't want to get distracted and off track on petty little details. So catch yourself in that moment and realign. The mantra should be, is it relevant? Is it useful? And because of Mercury hitting Aries as well, now we have this Virgo full moon, which is part of the Virgo Pisces family, but a lot of the planets, personal and big boys, have moved into Aries. So Aries is the clean slate of the zodiac. This is our reset button on individual, social, and collective levels. That's pretty big. And Aries is action and fire, and it's instinct, and it's being connected to your body and your physicality so that you can know that you are in the right place or the right position, that kind of thing. And Aries acts first, thinks later. So in a minute, the pace that was Pisces, that was very slow and easy and laid back, is going to be Aries, I just want to get started, I want to do it now. And I would just say pump your brakes a little bit. Think first before you speak, before you act, all of the above. Because whatever you can complete and clear with this Virgo full moon is going to position you so much better. And again, 24 hours between these two, I get it. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot of physical, tangible action. But the intention is most important. Remember, intent always translates, okay? Somebody can be smiling in your face, but their intent is malice, and you pick that up. Or somebody like me with a Sag rising can say all the wrong things in the wrong tone, but you know my intent is love, and that translates. So people know to accept me and my logical, linear, straight to the point MO. It works for me. So Aries, Mercury is hitting Aries and retrograding. So that's the other big news that most people have heard of, that most people understand affects them. And that is Mercury retrograding this year in fire signs. And I think we've discussed this because last year it was earth signs and we were called to get more grounded and get more practical about our ideas, maybe get some things into form. So theoretically, we created a base last year. And I was very cognizant, and I did this a lot. I created several containers for my creative ideas. But the container is only about as far as I got on the Mercury idea process. So now this year with the fire, we can get really creative because we have containers built, theoretically. And even if you've only got one, that's okay. And if you don't even have that one, your body is your container. So you want to work on your Virgo health in that concern. And even Aries. Aries has to be physical. So for all my Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn babies, being active and physical and outside moving or in the gym moving, whatever kind of moving, dancing, athletics, whatever you got that moves your body and gets your heart rate up, vital for these people to function, just to function, not even to be an athlete or to go be a star or whatever. It's just to function. It's a calibration that allows you to communicate with your body, and it's very, very important. So Mercury hit Aries on the 9th, and it's going to zoom on through. It is hitting Pluto, which is deepening our thoughts and getting us down to some deeper, deeper truths, everybody. So be prepared because it's coming, and things are going to be revealed in that regard. So as it zips on through Aries, it's going to retrograde on the 30th and go back over that territory. So on one hand, you can look at this as like getting a second chance. absolutely, to cultivate ideas. But most of the time, you got to remember Mercury's information, and it's ideas, thoughts, concepts. It's also your own perception, which the Virgo full moon is going to shine a light as well on how are you perceiving yourself or your world around you. Or we remember that filter can get gunky. We talked about this a long time ago. I found an analogy I loved. When you clean the filter in the dryer, you pull it out, you wipe the lint off, and you put it back. That's semi-clean, but if you went to run water over it, over time, a waxy buildup happens on that screen. So you gotta scrub, rinse, repeat. And that's what we wanna do with our personal filters, is recognize that yes, as a practice, I keep my filter clean, but every now and then, we gotta go deeper, and we gotta work a little harder to clear that filter and allow it to do its job, which is to filter out all the feelings that the water signs feel and allow us to really get down to the nuts and bolts of whatever it is and focus, okay? So focus is on deck as well, and between the Virgo mental focus that might be going on and then that Aries instinctive connection that happens, it's gonna be intense. Yes, but not impossible. So it's actually squaring Pluto on the 13th. Where are we now? We're on the 18th. So it did it last week. So maybe this week brought some of that in. When's the last time we talked? On the 11th, the tsunami, everyone. I've been in prayer mode and in another zone because of that, doing my empathic work. But the 13th would have taken things a little deeper, certainly. And it's going to move on. Now, the thing about astrology is there's different activations. When I'm calling an activation, it's a conjunction, which is a new beginning, and an opposition is an integration. And Mercury's going to do a bunch of activations of new beginnings. It's going to get things started. It's going to get you thinking. It's going to get your wheels turning. You, again, may not be able to do much right away, but it's going to get things going. And that's what you want the most out of this month of Aries that's coming in on Sunday. It begins Sunday and runs all the way until we hit Taurus on the 20th of April. So you have a month to get things started. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't worry about what it's going to be ultimately. Just get started. And when we get to Taurus time, you can get some roots behind it. You can get some roots underneath it and work it from there. But the new beginning piece that Mercury, again, is going to alter your thinking. It hit it once with Jupiter, our truth and story. So what we hold to be true is changing. We know this on small and large scales. So it hit Jupiter once while it was direct on the 15th. That was Tuesday. So some kind of new truth, new story, an idea maybe for a new truth and story got activated. It's going to retrograde, hit it again April 11th, and then it's going to go forward and hit it May 11th. So you're going to get 3 times to really get your outline of your new 12-year story together, because after that, Jupiter hits Taurus and it's on. We've begun the new 12-year cycle. And this is important, everyone, on a personal level. Remember, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars are personal planets. This is all about you. And if you can just get in a little bit of rhythm with it and recognize that you have until May 15th to kind of work this piece of it, this Jupiter new truth and story piece, with Mercury, getting your head straight, getting your mind wrapped around a new story, and like I said, create an outline and see what you come up with. And the other piece, Mercury will hit the Sun, which is your identity. So how you think and who you think you are is getting in alignment there. And because of the retrograde, there is a little back and forth, so you want to keep that in mind. But April 9th, your thinking and your source are going to come together in a certain way, and you want to just work it. Again, there's not a lot to do as much to just tune into the essence, tune into the energy, and see how you feel when these things happen, because some people feel it and they don't know what it is. And so if you know what's going on, then you have a lot more control over setting the intention, working with what's supported, which is my big thing. Getting in rhythm with the cycles and the energies and the activations helps you feel like you're co-creating rather than being pushed around by the universal outside forces. Nobody likes that. And it is going to hit Mars. While it's retrograde, it's only going to hit Mars once, as far as I could tell, April 19th. So what you want, you may change your mind about what you want at that point, because the retrograde is backwards. It's going over old territory. So maybe something you used to want that you realize in an aha moment that you just don't want anymore. Or something you were totally against, like me in television, you can turn around and have a completely new outlook on that, which I really did have an aha moment at the end of last year that I was going to have to do some things a different way. And I was so resistant to new technology and to learn, getting new software and new tools and all of these things, but I don't know what happened. I think Mercury hit me upside the head and said, nope, we're going to change her mind today. And I'm really okay with it now. I'm better. And then once it goes direct, what I love is this final piece, actually 2 days before Jupiter, which is juicy. That means Venus and Jupiter are going to be getting together too. Mercury's going to hit Venus, your values and priorities. So what used to be important is really going to come into the light, into your mind's eye, and you're going to recognize what is no longer important and what's more important than ever. And as soon as that hits May 9th, May 11th, it gets to Jupiter, and that truth and story gets another bit of juice, and you pull it all together. By Taurus time, you can really start planting some seeds and getting that garden shaped up. And that's the garden of your soul, by the way. I mean, it's a very important thing. And so for this week specifically, we do have some activations, and that's the other piece of activations when the planets get together. And the 21st, which will be Monday, Sun and Uranus have an annual dance. And I believe last year, I think it was April 26th, which is Taurus time. So this is the first time that the Sun and Uranus are getting together in Aries in 84 years. That's huge. That's huge. Like I said, on social, global, collective levels. But personally for Aries, Libra, and Cancer, Capricorn babies, they are feeling this. And so I want you specifically, that family particularly, to think about this over the next 7 years. You get 7 chances for your core essential nature to link up with the Uranus, which is liberation and freedom. Freedom to be yourself, to shine your light, to love who you are and love where you are on this planet is still a beautiful, amazing, amazing place to be and to function. And Sun it does its annual track like we were talking about earlier on Lisa's show. It'll hit Uranus during Aries time for the next 7 years. So you get an annual cycle to radically shift something, to break a pattern about Sun, your identity, your core essential self. Evolves every year. You get another chance to break a pattern or to get out of a rut of any kind, to get super creative. Uranus is all about being your unique individual self. So certainly feed that. So often, young people and old people alike, we all want to get along and be like our friends or like these people around us, but there's a piece that's only you. That's only you, and Uranus is lighting it up. And you just want to think the lightning strike, because again, it's going to seem to come in aha moments like that. And that's on Monday as the actual activation, but there's a vibe, there's a window of opportunity here that you can play with the whole entire month of Aries, as far as I'm concerned. And on the 26th, which is next Saturday, and so I assume we'll talk on the 25th, but that Venus hits Neptune in Aquarius at the end of Aquarius right before she moves into Pisces. And that's another big one. That's a personal planet hitting a collective planet, just like the Sun and Uranus, Venus and Neptune at the end of Aquarius. This again, because Neptune's about to move into Pisces, might be the last one for 165 years. So that's pretty big as well. And so what you want to do in that point is just set your intention. Again, Sun is who you are, Venus is what's important to you. Values and priorities, sometimes it's love and money, but basically it's what's important to you. And as those things get triggered by these big boys, you'll see a shift in the collective consciousness as well. So for spring equinox, we have a lot of new beginning energy, things to set in place. We got to remember that the solstices are the extreme, light and dark, whereas the equinoxes are the balance. So again, if you're struggling with any balance issues, this is your time to really tune in to balance. And again, it's available. Why not? You might as well at least claim it, even if it takes some time to get it going. This is redemption and resurrection time. Again, Aries is the clean slate, so forgive yourself and forgive everyone else. Release what you can and keep it moving, because the life-death-life cycle is ongoing. This is how we roll. This is a rhythm that we can really get into. And it's a portal. You want to think of all the seasons as a gateway where you're moving out of a zone. We're never going back to a month ago. You're not going back. So these are portals that are taking you through your evolution and helping you rise to the next level and to become who you are. And that's a beautiful thing, and we need to practice and be present with that. And we get these opportunities where, again, it's supported to focus on the new beginning, and that's where we are now. If you've been in some kind of womb or somewhere else kind of closed off from people, maybe your heart's been closed off, maybe your mind's been closed off. I wasn't real open and receptive to many things that I'm open to now. So allow yourself, and that's what I do. I take the timing and I apply myself, and I set the intention, even if I'm not there yet altogether. I set the intention, and it magnetizes it right on in, and that allows spirit to work in my life as well. I can say, this is supported, and this is what I want. Now, bring me the molecules to co-create it, and that works for me. So this is also, you want to keep in mind with the Virgo purification. So if anybody needs to start a cleanse, this is a good time for that as well, right as spring gets started, because once summer comes, you're going to want to have fun. So you want to clean up and stabilize and tend to the roots. When we get to Taurus, you're going to really tend to the roots. And this is time for space clearing. Spring cleaning is always a good thing. Get the clutter out. Virgo's really going to pound on you for that one, because the Virgo will tend to hold on to these little things all the time. So cleaning and clearing is Virgo's most fun thing. Every time I'm ungrounded, which I have a lot of Virgo, so when I get into Pisces mode, my Virgo's imbalanced and I'm all out in the universe traveling around other dimensions and things. If I need to get grounded, I start cleaning, I start organizing, and I get into tangible household basic 101 things. Nothing too fancy, but my sacred space needs to be clear and flowing. I really do believe in feng shui and keeping the energy moving. And unfortunately, it's part of life. Energy gathers and gets stuck in the corners in our houses, gets stuck in the corners of our bodies, and we need to open those up, freshen them up, and loosen them up so that new life can come in. Just think about how hard and crusty the earth is during winter. We need to pound on that and get it juicy again and get it moist and able to grow life. So that's where you're at. You're growing your own life as you go, and these seasons really help you do a rhythm. So this is fertilizing time. This is seed planting time. Some things are going to blossom, even from winter solstice or 6 months ago, a year ago, that you might see some blossoms from that work you did last year. And I know a lot of people that work it with me are seeing the results of their labor of setting their intentions, of being aware and awake and present for their own lives. Very, very important. And so this is a great time during these sacred seasons. It's a really good time to do ceremony, ritual. Again, setting intentions. If you're doing the release work of the full moon, write down everything you want out of your life, everything that needs to be heat purified, and then burn it in fire. Try, if you can, to take the ashes to living water. So that would be an ocean or a natural lake and things. And you give it back to spirit. Dust to dust, baby. We can do this, and it's part of what we do, and it's coded in us. We can remember this, and we can really cultivate a rhythm that, as an individual, you can live with. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, we are having a spring equinox gathering for Karmic Tools. It's a free call that if you want to join us to celebrate the season, beautiful. On Thursday, we're going to have the free Pluto call. So we're going to go over what Pluto's doing for the year. That's a big collective planet, so it's not real personal, but because it's Capricorn, it is personal for my Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra babies. So right now at the 4 main seasons, the solstices and equinoxes, remember Pluto's engaged at every turn, and that intensifies everything, and it takes you deeper than ever before. And this is going on 2008 to 2024. So that's a 16-year process of Pluto. So it's a very long-term collective movement going on. But when the little guys hit it, it makes it personal, and then you got to pay attention. So I think we're pretty close. I don't know how we're doing on time. Okay, we have about 3 minutes. So let's get into some of these details. You know, Mercury is how you think and how you express yourself. And when it gets together with these guys over the course of March and April, there's going to be some time where you get to either clear your head or get your mind straight and work with these other planets, which are personal, social, and collective. We have Mars and Venus. So, keep that in mind. Mars and Venus are going to hit Aries together. I'm not sure of the exact date they link up, but let's see. The new moon in Aries is April 3rd. Mars hits Aries April 1st. And Venus is already there, I believe. She will be. Nope, she's in Pisces. So by that time, Venus hits Aries on April 20th. So by the end of April, sometime in April, May, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are going to get together in Aries, another clean slate. And we've been working this, guys. We've all been working this one way or the other, because when Venus retrograded in Scorpio, it got together with Mars then. And I can't remember, but I do think there was a third time, which is rare. They get together once, and then it's pretty much 2 years before they get together again. And we've had a little back-to-back action where the divine feminine and masculine are getting together and aligning themselves. So we have access. That's all I'm saying. We have access, so you can do it internally. There's the masculine, feminine within us. You know, masculine is proactive. It makes things happen. The feminine contains, nurtures, protects. It allows, it creates a space for the action to happen, really. So you can do that calibration within you, or out in the world, your relationships, male, female, 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 male, male, whatever, then that energy is coming together. And again, with the clean slate, because it's Aries. Now, theoretically, we did some serious work in Scorpio, and we cleaned out the sticky icky at the bottom. So everyone that did their work consciously are in new positions now for that clean slate to take root, and that is so delicious. That is so delicious. And you've earned it. That Scorpio work is not easy work. It's in the underworld. It's somewhere else. It's another dimension to move through when you're dealing with your own karma, because Scorpio is the power of how we do anything in this universe, and it creates karma. So we did a big cleansing in the last year or two. So this new beginning come April, May, June, huge. So again, you can do it internally, you can do it externally, you can claim it for the universe, you can claim it for the globe, you can claim it for your country. All of that is available now for a recalibration and a complete rebirth. And tune in, you know, and just see how you feel. That's the biggest thing. There's no language right now because we are in brand new territory. So you have to have your inner compass together. And even the magnetic fields are going a little wacko. So again, you have to have a mechanism within you to navigate. At this point, it's a new day on this planet, and we have a lot to do to make it, you know, better, but it's still pretty pristine on many levels. So we are blessed and highly favored across the board. So I think we're good. That's going to get you through the week. We'll talk on next Friday and bring up a little more on the Mercury retrograde, but you can start preparing because you're in the shadow territory now. So don't be upset if there are some do-overs. You know, this is the time to back up your computers, do some car maintenance, do whatever you have to do on your mechanical objects, because remember, Mercury really does rule those machines and how they communicate with themselves and each other. So you want to do your backups and do what you can to maintain the machines as best you can. And then again, not be upset if it's glitchy or weird. I had the strangest things happen on Mercury retrograde. So I don't even get upset anymore because you can turn the computer off and turn it back on, and whatever you saw isn't there anymore, and all's well. That's a Mercury retrograde effect. And it happens to all of us at one point or another. And so if you are an Aries, again, something about your mentality is going to be shifting. It's going to get a review, revise, go back over. There's something you missed the first time. So this is Kelly M. Beard of Karmic Tools and Lunar Reflections. Thank you so much, everyone, for making me feel so loved and at home. And whoo, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I couldn't look at the TV at all, so I don't know what I was doing. I'm scared to death to see it.